Do you want to stand steadfast and strong through whatever your opponent throws at you, while being able to hit back even harder than they can? Then Steel Ink is what you should hold out for. Welcome, fellow rebels. Today we're going to take a look at the steadfast stance of the steel cards in Disney's Lorcana. Now we're going to start off with the text that Disney has put on the Lorcana website for the Steel Ink. Steel glimmers are strong, large and imposing, armored, or just plain powerful. Steel glimmers can apply huge amounts of brute force to get the job done. Now you might ask yourself, what separates steel from ruby? Are they just both powerhouses? Well, with steel cards, they're not about, getting a lot of, hitting hard and being relentless like ruby is. Steel you can think of like a tank, which, steel on a tank, silver, kind of associate with each other in that comparison. But, it's very defensive, but it can also hit hard at the same time. In order to kind of go over what makes steel unique, though, we separated the different types of cards you'll find into 3 separate points. So the first one that we'll talk about is their ability to have a high amount of challengers, or like the challenger ability. Now we'll start with our Forceful Duelist Captain Hook. And now, to be clear, Steel isn't the only deck that has challengers, but it's their number of them and just kind of like how high the plus will be to it. So this Forceful Duelist Captain Hook is a staple in any Steel deck. It's cost 1 and inkable, a great card to get out there right away. Now he has 2 willpower and 1 strength, but let's say we got an opponent here, this Friendly Snowman Olaf. Now, he has 3 willpower, really hard to take out with, simple cards, but with this Captain Hook, that Olaf is exerted, you can challenge. You'd only take 1 damage and, still be alive, but with the +2 challenger, which is when challenging this character gets +2 strength, you'll be able to deal 3 damage and actually take out this Olaf. So that's quite useful when you're especially dealing with cards that have high willpower. Now, an even greater example of this is the Returned King Simba. Now, this is 7 cost for ink and is inkable as well. He's got 6 willpower and 4 strength. And he has this ability Pounce, which is during your turn, this character gains the evasive ability, which means, if your opponent is throwing out a bunch of evasive characters that you normally wouldn't be able to hit, you can do it with him on your turn. It's just that on an opponent's turn, they can challenge him like normal because he will not have the evasive ability. The thing we're mainly focused on here, though, is his Challenger +4 ability. So while challenging, this character gets +4 strength, so that means it goes from 4 to 8 when he's challenging, which is as high as one of the strongest cards in the game, also in the Steel deck, a Maui card. So let's say we got our King of the Pride's Land, Mufasa, here, out as your opponent. He's getting the opponent 3 lore every turn, and he's got, 6 willpower. It's quite a bit to take him out. With this Return King Simba here, if he's exerted, you can challenge him. You'd survive because you'd still have 2 willpower left, but with the +4 for a total of 8, you'd be able to take out that Mufasa. Now, another, as of right now, unique thing that Steel cards have is their ability to deal splash damage. Now, my favorite card in the game here is Giant Fairy Tinkerbell. And she's a Floodborn character, so you can shift for her. Cost 6 and inkable. For any Steel deck, I'd say this is a necessity if you can get your hands on one. There's also a really cool enchanted rare version of this card. She has 5 willpower and 4 strength. And her ability, Rock the Boat, is when you play this character, you can deal 1 damage to each opposing character. So if these are the opposing characters and I play her alone, whether through shifting or not, you just instantly deal 1 damage to each of the characters. And then if I did shift her, her second ability, which I'll go over here, is Puny Pirate. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may deal 2 damage to a chosen opposing character. So, let's say that this Mufasa here already has 2 damage on him. So if I have my Tinkerbell and I challenge him, the additional 4 strength from her would banish him, and then I could just choose this Olaf to deal 2 damage to, and he'd get banished as well. So, you know, this Tinkerbell card is really powerful. For anybody who's able to get her, you'll probably find them in their steel decks there. Another card here that does splash damage, and I'll just put him out here as an additional example there, is the Grab Your Sword. Action song card, so like with my Tinkerbell here, since she's cost 6, and this is only for cost 5, she could sing and play this card without having to use up any ink. And what this card does when you play it is it deals 2 damage to each opposing character. Now that's another card that you'll find in almost every steel deck because of just how good it is. You can't ink it, which is a little unfortunate, but, you know, it's always going to be useful for opponents who have characters out there. Because, you know, I play this card like that, and then I just, you know, will deal 2 damage to, you know, every single character, which would kill him. So, you know, deal 2 damage to Mufasa there. Yeah, quite a good card. Now, the final cards that we're going to talk about here, similar in nature to those, but slightly different, is cards that deal non-challenging damage. And separate from splash damage, you have your basic one here, Fire the Cannons. Now, this will allow you to deal 2 damage to the chosen character. It's only a cost 1, so for anybody that has 4 of these, you'll probably find 4 of them in somebody's deck. Because for characters that are evasive, or just have a lot of health, and you don't have characters out to challenge, you want to be safe, you just play Fire the Cannons, and you can deal 2 damage to them as an action. It's quite great. So you just fire the cannons, and boom, that Olaf is down to 1 health. I can then challenge, let's say I have a Grammatala and a Sapphire Ink, and trade kill him. Not only does it banish the Olaf there, but it also will allow me to take that Grammatala and put her in my ink pile, or my inkwell. The final card we have here is Plasma Blaster. Now, this is another card that you'll find in a lot of steel decks. It's cost 3, not inkable, which is, you know, not ideal for a lot of people, but it is ability Quick Shot, which is when you exert the card, and if you have, let's say, you need 2 ink in your inkwell to do at the same time, so it costs both exertion and ink, you can deal 1 damage to the chosen character. So it's especially very useful a lot later in the game, when you have like an excess of ink that you can just keep using to deal this with. Or it's like that Olaf, you know, I challenged him, or I used Grab Your Swords, let me just use my Plasma Blaster here to finish him off. A very useful card to have. Another one that you'll see, you know, 3 to 4 of in somebody's deck. And that's everything you will need to know about the Steel Ink in Lorcana. If you're looking for more videos on Lorcana, check out the playlist or video here. And until next time, have fun and game on.